a man comes up to Yahusha, gets down on his knees, and he asks the Son of the Most High, Yahusha, the Most High who saves, the Most High who redeems, the Most High who delivers. And he asks, what must I do to have everlasting life? And Yahusha says unto him, you know the commandments. Do not murder. Do not steal. Do not commit adultery. Do not bear false witness. Honor your mother and father. And the man says that he has honored these commandments. He's watched over these laws since he was a child. What else must I do? And so Yahusha says to the man, it's almost as if the man is testing Yahusha. It's almost as if, and look, this is just the way I'm interpreting it, but it's almost as if the man is trying to prove to Yahusha how good he is. It's almost like he's coming to like, what is the secret to everlasting life? As if it's some ritual he must do, some ceremony he must do, some key to a door he must unlock, some mystery. And again, it's almost like, look how good I am. So Yahusha says to him, okay, there's one more thing that you should do. Sell all of your possessions, give it to the poor, and follow me. And by the way, Yahusha says this with love. He says, I believe it says, and Yahusha loved him and said to him. So he said it lovingly. He said, okay, sell your possessions, give it to the poor, and take up your stake and follow me. And that might mean as Yahusha will take up the stake, as his disciples take up the stake, which I believe is almost like the cross, because there's dispute in what the term means. Cross, stake, because you'll be sacrificed upon that. You'll give up everything for that. As Yahusha will be eventually crucified on the stake, on the cross, many will take up their stake and be sacrificed on their stake in this life for Yahusha. They will give up everything. They will lose this life to gain the real life. In sacrificing this life, in giving up this life, because this life is an illusion. And so, upon hearing, sell everything, sell all of your possessions, the man is grieved because he has many possessions. Many possessions. And so he is grieved at the word that he has received from Yahusha. And so he leaves. He leaves saddened by this. Imagine that. Yahusha just offered the man everlasting life. And now he's grieved because he places so much value in his possessions. Possessions. We cling to possessions. We clutch possessions. We hang on to possessions. You possess nothing in this life. Everything in this life is perishable. Nothing of it is real. But we grasp it. We try to wrestle it down, and we put a stranglehold on our possessions, and we store possessions. We store them up. We store them up just so we can look at them, just so we can have them, or so that we could say we have them. We'll fill warehouses full of our possessions. placing so much value in these things. But how does any of your possessions help you serve Elohim, help you serve the Most High, help you serve Yahuwah? You have to ponder this. You have to meditate on this. You start to. So, after hearing this, his disciples come to him. They're astonished at the word. Right? That's the term. That's the translation. They're astonished. And he says to them, he says to his disciples, it is, and again, I'm paraphrasing here, but he says, it is nigh on impossible for a man who trusts in riches to enter the kingdom of heaven. And so his disciples say to him, and again, the interpretation is exceedingly, or they are immeasurably astonished at this. And they say, teacher, who then can be saved? And Yahusha says to them, because he says, it is, a man places so much value, he trusts in riches, that he places so much value in possessions, that it is easier, and everyone knows this saying, they've heard it before. He says, it is easier for a camel to thread the eye of a needle than for a rich man, for a man who trusts in riches, for a man who trusts in possessions, to enter the kingdom of heaven. Because when you accumulate possessions, when you put all of your energy into possessions, when you put all of your thoughts and your value into possessions, you lose sight of what is most important, because you become caught up in the ways of the flesh, in the ways of this illusion, and you place stock in it, you place value in it, put skin in the game on it, and you lose sight of what's really important. And so, when they say to him, well, teacher, then who can be saved? And he says, for men this is impossible. For men it is impossible. Only Elohim. It is only possible for Elohim, for the Most High, for Yahuwah, for with Yahuwah all things are possible. Because only in knowing Yahuwah do you understand the way, the truth, and the life. Only in living in Yahuwah, Yahusha, do you realize what is valuable, what is important. Can your possessions help you serve Yahuwah? Maybe. But really think about this. Is what you're valuing, because here's where you have to ponder, is what you're valuing helping you serve Yahuwah? Helping you serve Yahuwah, Yahusha, helping you understand, helping you value, helping you live in Yahuwah, Yahusha. For in his salvation, in coming to him, in all humbleness, all humility, in atonement, in reverence, in repentance, for all that you've been, and all that, because your whole life, what have you been doing? You've been clawing, scratching, cannibalizing, conquering, overpowering, dominating, for what? For what? For possessions, for decadence, depravity, defilement, debasement, and the ways of the flesh. And you've slashed and burned your way to gain anything. Or maybe you haven't. Maybe you've struggled and strived to gain things that you've never been able to gain. But along the way, what have you done? You've either reveled and celebrated in your accomplishments, with nothing but drugs and alcohol and pornography and meaningless sex and just a orgiastic, gluttonous, hedonistic lifestyle, or you've done the same to escape from the brutal, harsh reality of not achieving your goals, your ambitions, and your targets. Either way, you're lost. Either way. Whether you've climbed to the top of the mountain only to realize you're not happy because you're at the bottom of another, or because you haven't gotten there and you think that's the end all and be all, and so you escape from it. Either way, we're all doing the same thing. We're all bereft, we're all hopeless, we're all in sorrow. And once you get, and so here's the thing. We get so lost in our possessions that you're not able to invest in Yahuwah. You get so caught up in valuing the things of the flesh, the things of this world, the things that have no meaning. Your baseball card collection, your stamp collection, your comic book collection, your stock portfolio, your bond portfolio, your summer home, your cars, your clothes, your jewelry. All of these things that mean nothing. And then for those who are just simply struggling and striving to pay the bills, for those who don't have any of those things, you're chasing endlessly, because this world sells you those things as the way to happiness. So you're constantly disappointed, you're constantly frustrated, you're constantly anxious that you don't have the houses, the cars, the stock portfolio, the money, the champagne lifestyle, the glory, the riches, the power, all the things of this flesh that they tell you will make you happy. But even those without, most of us, because we've all been there, we've all had nothing, and many of us have had some things, and some of us have had lots of things. And we're all putting some form of value, we're investing some of ourselves. We're pouring love into some meaningless material bauble, some shiny object, something that we treasure. Again, it could be jewelry, it could be a painting, it could be, like I said, it could be a stamp or a baseball card or a comic book or a book or a film or something that catches your fancy that will ultimately perish. And the more perishable it is, the more you value it. Oh, this is perishable. I have to save it. I have to hold on to it. I have to, it's endearing to me. And so you hold on to it with all your might. You value, you put it away, you put it in, you laminate it. You put it in a vault. You put it in a safety deposit box. You put it in a drawer. You put it under your mattress. You put these things somewhere. Because they're so if you should lose them, your heart will be broken. But here's the thing. The things you clutch, the things you cling to, the things you hang on to, the material things, the man-made things that you place any form of stock in, any value in, any that you pour your love into, are worthless. They all perish. They're all gone. You can't take them with you. We're valuing the wrong things. These things don't love you. These things don't care about you. These things don't know you exist. And yet the thing that the thing that loves us most, the entity that beckons us to love him, the the end all and the be all, the alpha and the omega, the the enormity of the Creator, that wants our reverence, that wants us to honor Him, that wants us to love Him, we reject. We turn away from. The most valuable thing you could ever imagine. Imagine this, the most valuable thing in the world, the most valuable thing in the universe, the most, it's indescribable, the value of the Most High wants our love, wants us to revere Him, wants us to honor Him. Imagine this. Imagine this. The most immaterial, nonsensical thing in the world. A car, a house, a baseball card. Worthless. Yet we love it with everything we have. Oh, we hold on to it. We kiss it. We hug it. You know, we idolize it. We worship it. But the most powerful thing, beyond all measure, omnipotent, omniscient, wants us to love Him, to honor and revere Him, and we reject Him. We turn away from Him. Can you imagine? And here's the most insane thing about it. In loving Him, in honoring Him, in revering Him, all our loneliness is gone. All our sorrow is dissolved. All our anger, all our frustration, all of our hatred, all of our loss, all of our wandering, all of our hungering, all of our thirsting, all of it is obliterated. All of our sins, all of our evil, all of our decadence and depravity and defilement and debasement, forgiven. Astonishing. Absolutely astounding. And yet we don't understand it. That all things are possible in Elohim, in the Most High, in Yahuwah. Love Yahuwah with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love our fellow man as we love ourselves. And all the things that you can't get from any of this hallucination, mirage, any of this false reality, any of the man-made products, accoutrements of the luxury style, all the creature comforts of this world. None of these things, they give you nothing. Nothing. As I said, even when you get them, you realize it doesn't make you happy. All you want is more. And it's endless, constantly clawing, scratching, cannibalizing for more of it. Can never get enough. The one true thing. And anything that you should have, any possession that you should have, Elohim will bestow upon you if it helps you serve Him best. And how do you serve Him best? You love Him with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. You love your fellow man as you love yourself. And anything, and there is true peace and solace, healing and joy found in recognizing that none of your possessions mean anything. And anything that you receive, anything that you get, whether you get it or not, it doesn't mean anything. But if you get it in loving Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, anything that you receive is only because, in some way, shape, or form, it will help you serve Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. in loving your fellow man as you love yourself. Because if your possessions do not help you love your fellow man as you love yourself, then again, these possessions are meaningless, which is why you should place no value on them. Anything you need, Yahuwah will ensure that you have. So whether you have wealth beyond measure or whether you have nothing, if you care about that wealth, it'll be taken away from you. If you care about your houses, it'll be taken away from you. If you place any value in your stock portfolio, in your bank accounts, in your cars, in your summer home, in your paintings, in your comic book, in any of these things, they will be ripped away from you. The more you cling to them, the more you will lose them. And the more it will cut you like a dagger because you placed your value in the wrong thing. And ultimately, you say, well, what about all these people that when they pass away, look, it was never taken away from them. They have billions. They have all of these possessions, warehouses full of possessions. And and where is it now? It's not theirs any longer. They crossed over, and they couldn't take any of it with them. So one way or another, you do not own these things. You will never keep these things. The pharaohs of ancient Egypt used to pile all of this gold and all of these treasures up in their tombs as if they'd be able to take it with them. But there it still is. You can't take it with you. One way or another, you will lose it. But most importantly in this life, you will lose the thing that matters most. You will lose your soul in placing any value on any of this. And you will only realize that you are free when you realize that none of the material, none of the man-made goods and products of this world, nor the esteem and glory of man is worth anything. The minute you realize that, the minute you realize the only thing that matters is the love of Elohim, the love of the Most High, the love of Yahuwah, and your salvation in Yahusha, Yahuwah manifested in the flesh, that you become free. You become free of your addiction to this world. You become free of your addiction to the ways of the flesh. You've become free of your addiction to meaningless, material, to worthless products, to the ways of the flesh that only serve to disappoint you, discourage you, and afflict you by yoking you and chaining you and binding you to things that will ultimately perish and will never care about you or love you or care or take or do anything for you other than to exist separate and apart from you, such that you look at it and afford some kind of value on it, such that it can be priced, measured, and weighed, and then stored away somewhere, piled on top of other things, in a closet, in a basement, in a warehouse. Well, the things that matter most, your people, the things that matter above all else, Yahuwah, don't get your attention. But it's in loving Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and loving your people as you love yourself, you become free. You become free of all the anxiousness, all the frustration, all the anxiety, all the discouragement, all the pain, all the suffering, all the cheap thrills, cheap titillations, cheap highs, decadence, depravity, defilement, debasement of this world goes away. Because you finally value the thing that matters most. And in valuing the thing that matters most, you receive everything. In fact, you receive so much from Yahuwah, Yahusha, through the breath of Yahuwah, the Ruach, the set-apart spirit, filling you with joy, filling you with healing love, filling you with redemption, filling you with salvation, absolutely flooding you with healing and everlasting life. Nothing more important, nothing worth more than Elohim and his everlasting life in his kingdom to come, where the only treasure that matters sits. And so, and again, anything that you need here on this earth, in this false reality, he will bestow it upon you should you need it to serve him best. It's not going to help you love him more. It's not going to help you love him with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. But where any possession will ever help please him is in how you use it to help your fellow man. To help your people. To help your family and your household. But not to store it up endlessly in warehouses just so you can look at it and say you have it and know you own it. Clawing, scratching, cannibalizing, glomming, gorging yourself on these things that are worthless. While the love of Elohim fills you with the true riches. Absolutely burst within you with the golden, glorious light. The light of this true and real and everlasting glory and love and salvation. You know no peace, you know no solace, you know no wealth beyond this. Beyond what fills your heart, beyond what fills your soul. The energy, the encouragement, the inspiration. Whew, you can't pay for this. It is free. It is a gift that you are given simply for coming to him and asking for it. Asking for, simply knock on his door and instantly it is answered. Seek and you find. You receive everything you've ever hoped for and more, such that your cup will run over, such that you'll be shouting it from the rooftops. You'll be out here at sunup screaming about it, inspired by it, encouraged at the enormity of it, filled with love and energy like you've never known, and truly alive for the first time in your life, set free from the yoke and chain and bindings of this world, and lifted as high as you could ever imagine in the loving hands of Elohim, of Yahuwah, Yahusha, lifts us ever so high, higher than we could ever imagine, as we should be lifting our fellow man as high as we can. Love Yahuwah with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your people as you love yourself. And let us walk tall with the gift and the riches and the wealth of the kingdom to come and of the journey ahead as we get there on this narrow road which is emblazoned with his light, such that we finally see it and know how to walk it. And we don't just walk, we march tall, steadfast, and strong, ceaseless and relentless. We move like a juggernaut, unstoppable, unconquerable, undefeatable, unassailable, to kingdom come.